It's been about 6 months since I last looked at Icon, and in that time the project has been up to quite a bit. Not just that, but ICX has been on a tear. So what the hell has Icon been up to, and is there still potential? My name is Guy, and in this video I will attempt to answer all of that. I'll also give you my personal take on Icon and ICX in 2020. So be sure to watch until the very end. Before I get into the juicy details, a few things I need to say. This is not investment advice, so please consult your financial advisor. This is purely educational and nothing more. Also, if you're new here, welcome to my community. I highly encourage you to subscribe and turn on those notifications. I do these regularly, so you'll want to get them the moment they hit the wires. Okie dokie, let's get back to Icon. Now, if this is the first time that you're hearing about Icon, then it's only fitting to give you a short 1-minute overview. Feel free to jump ahead using the timestamps if you're already an Icon whiz. Basically, Icon is a project that's building a decentralized network that allows other independent blockchains with different governance structures to interact without any intermediaries. So, quite simply, it's focused on interoperability between seemingly disparate systems. It's more of an interchain, and they have called themselves the, quote, network of blockchains. If you think that this sounds a hell of a lot like Cosmos, then you're right. The projects share a number of similarities. However, Icon has been developed with a different architecture. Icon uses a loop fault tolerance consensus algorithm compared to Cosmos's Tendermint consensus method. Icon is also a delegated proof of contribution network, whereas Cosmos is a delegated proof of stake. Oh, now if any of this is unclear to you, then I've linked to some handy resources below. Taking a quick look at the participants in the Icon blockchain, you have 3 types of nodes. You have the block producing or peer nodes, P nodes. You have the citizen nodes, and then you have the light clients. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the light clients. You can think of these as basically just wallets that can sign and receive transactions. With respect to the P nodes, these can also be thought of as full nodes, which are basically the nodes that participate in consensus on the network. However, the C node is relatively unique to the Icon network. The main function of these nodes is to synchronize the data and to relay the transactions. Another thing that you must note about Icon is that there is also a dapp development platform. There are a number of other projects which have built decentralized applications on top of it. I'll take a look at some of these dapps in a bit. Now, although Icon is a decentralized open source blockchain, it was started by a company called Icon Loop, which is based in Korea. The Icon network held a pretty successful ICO back in 2017 on the Ethereum blockchain. An important milestone was the release of their mainnet in January of 2018, and they have been building out the protocol since. Anyways, I won't go into any more detail here, but if you want a more in-depth review, then I encourage you to watch my long-form review right here. Moving on though, let's take a look at some of the most important partnerships, shall we? Now, any Chainlink fans out there? Well, then you may have heard that Icon has entered a collaboration with Chainlink. This will see Icon using Chainlink's decentralized Oracle network in order to access off-chain data. Why do this, you ask? Well, because Chainlink is seen as one of the best solutions when it comes to accessing off-chain data in a secure and decentralized way. I won't go into details on Chainlink as I do have a separate video on that, but the integration opens up a whole host of opportunities for Icon dapps. It will enable any Icon dapp to access outside real-world data and bring it into their decentralized application. Let me break this down for you with a few examples. Does your dapp rely on prices from a particular market? Let's assume you built a DeFi dapp that needs reliable access to the Ethereum price to determine collateral prices. How do you make sure you're getting the best data and it's not corrupted? A decentralized and censorship-resistant off-chain Oracle network. Or how about if you've built a sports betting dapp that needs access to the latest information on an ongoing game? The integration could allow you to pull in the most unbiased sports data. Finally, the integration could also be used so that you could pull in reliable data from other blockchains. For example, you want your dapp to be able to accept payments from another blockchain. Through the integration, you can easily register that on the ICON network. In simple terms, the integration could further expand the interoperability of the ICON network. Okay, so the Chainlink integration was an important one, but I want to take a look at another really important part of the ICON network, and that is ICON Loop. While ICON Loop is a for-profit startup, they are actively involved in growing out the ICON ecosystem. You can think of them as analogous to the work that Consensus does on the Ethereum blockchain, building out enterprise solutions that use open-source distributed networks. ICON Loop has been doing pretty well, for they raised over $7 million in capital from traditional VCs just last year. They'll use this funding to expand their MyID alliance. This is basically a blockchain-based digital ecosystem that already has over 39 partners. You also have ICON Loop entering more specific memorandum of understandings with other companies. For example, in February of this year, they signed one with Saramin, which is a large job placement platform in Korea. The goal of the partnership is to develop a blockchain-based digital ID and verification system in Korea. The main benefit for Saramin of this partnership is the benefits of transparency and immutability. What do I mean by that? Well, you can instantly verify the authenticity of the credentials people use to apply. No more fake degrees and qualifications. Pretty neat. Back to ICON Loop though. The company was just recognized as a finalist in the Enterprise Blockchain Awards that's due to be held in the end of April this year. So why am I telling you this? Well, one of the keys to growing an ecosystem is through user adoption, and enterprise users are seen as one of the holy grails to this. Let's face it, there are a plethora of development blockchains out there, and many of them are languishing. Indeed, even some of those that were developed specifically for enterprise use are going nowhere. With ICON Loop, you have a dedicated company that's forming partnerships and building solutions which in turn are powering forward an open source network in ICON. Anyways, enough with the partnerships for now. I want to take a look at some important network development milestones and updates. I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of this video, Paxful. Paxful is one of the easiest and coolest ways I've found to buy or sell Bitcoin instantly. Paxful is a peer-to-peer marketplace with over 300 payment methods. This includes some truly crazy options like gift cards for World of Warcraft and Amazon, to cash in the mail, or even phone top-up cards. Over 100 e-wallets are also supported, including the likes of PayPal and WeChat Pay. To get started on Paxful today, go through the link in the description. Then simply select the payment method you want. Scroll through the marketplace, identify trusted Bitcoin sellers by looking at their reputation score, and select the deal you want. Finally, key in the amount of Bitcoin you want to buy, and you're done. So, if you've had trouble with limited payment methods on crypto exchanges, then you should definitely check out Paxful. After all, 3 million users can't be wrong. Now, back to the magic. Well, just a month after I released my review last year, the project met their target of community-appointed governance. These public representatives, PREPs, are tasked with managing, governing, protecting, and growing the ICON ecosystem. As mentioned in the intro, these PREPs are the block-producing nodes that will also vote on important governance decisions on the ICON network. ICX users can also delegate their votes to these nodes if they want to help in securing the network. There are 22 of these PREPs currently in the ecosystem. You can see them all here on the ICON tracker. You also have what are called sub-PREPs, of which there are 78. This is an important step for any blockchain as it signifies the passing of the reins to the community. It's the first step to decentralization and community governance. And it is actively being used by the community. There have been a number of network proposals that have previously been voted on. There are still other steps that need to be completed for the complete rollout of the decentralization goals of the project. They'll now need to onboard those C-reps that I mentioned above, as well as launch the contribution proposals. But if the P-rep rollout is anything to go by, this is likely to be relatively smooth. Moving on, there were a number of other mainnet updates since we last talked about the project. For example, they had one in January of this year as well as February. Indeed, if you take a look into the project's GitHub commits over the past 6 months, you'll see a hive of activity. The devs are definitely shipping loads of code, so top marks there. They are also using the aforementioned P-rep voting mechanisms to help inform their development upgrades. For example, here is network proposal that was released back in December of last year. Of course, things did not go completely according to plan. You had a network pause that occurred in November of last year. Now, while it's never a good thing when a decentralized network goes down, they handled it quite well. The network was down for less than a day, and in response to it, the team drafted a detailed incident response report. They identified the cause and were quick to suggest fixes that would be rolled out with the next upgrade. So, although network downtime and bugs are never a great outcome, it's how the developers respond to them that really determines the longevity of a project. Okay, so Icon has been quite busy rolling out features, but what can we expect from them this year? A few weeks ago, they released their 2020 roadmap. It was quite a comprehensive roadmap with a number of improvements broken down into 4 major themes. These were network enhancement, open source enhancement, upgrades to governance, blockchain transmission protocol, and sidechain. Now, I won't go into too much detail with these, and I've linked to the roadmap below. I encourage you to check it out if you're interested. One of the most exciting updates that I see on the roadmap that I wanted to go over is the blockchain transmission protocol. This will allow the transfer of value and information between different blockchains, so basically more interoperability. These blockchains will be able to communicate with one another through the Icon network. You can think of this as the blockchain equivalent to the Transmission Control Protocol, TCP, that's used in TCP IP connections, the backbone of the internet. The Icon developers hope to have the basic level of BTP implemented. Then the other update is that of the sidechains. This will be a new layer that will support a smart contract environment. It's the hope of the foundation that external developers will build and deploy their smart contracts on this sidechain. Basically, through the sidechain, they are developing a separate virtual machine and execution environment that can be used by the external dapp developers. Another benefit of this is that the work that's being done on the sidechain won't have any impact or slow down the main chain. This will leave the main Icon network to focus on interchain and governance transactions. This is a pretty novel idea that could help prevent some of the blockchain bloat that we've seen on other networks like that of Ethereum or EOS, all caused by dapps on the network. And speaking of dapps, there have already been quite a number that have been built on the Icon network. These are quite diverse and range from decentralized freelance marketplaces to casinos and decentralized travel agencies. You can see some of them over here. I've also linked to the dapp list below if you want to take a much longer look. Moving on though, let's take a quick look at the ICX Markets and staking returns, shall we? Now, as you know, Icon is a stakeable blockchain. Users can stake their ICX right from inside the official wallet. When staking, they can also vote for certain representative nodes. This staking return is not a constant parameter and will adjust based on the total amount of ICX that's been staked. Currently, staking rewards are at 17%, but it was much higher only a month ago. The return is most likely falling as more people get involved with the Icon network and drive the returns down. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking to stake ICX on the network, then I have linked to some handy guides below that should get you on your way. Indeed, it appears as if demand for ICX has been on an upward march over the past 2 months. Icon was one of the best performing altcoins when compared to Bitcoin. In terms of the markets for ICX, more liquidity seems to be opening up on a regular basis. In September of last year, you had Kraken listing the token, and then just this February, you had Binance US offering it to their traders. More exchange support is great for the liquidity of ICX. Indeed, there's already been a massive uptick in volume over the past 2 months, so demand and supply for trading ICX is on the rise. It's time to wrap things up in this review and give you my personal take on Icon and ICX. Firstly, like last year, I'm still quite optimistic about this project. There's been a lot of development that's taken place over the past 5 months. You have those first steps that the project took in order to decentralize the governance. Handing over governance to the P-nodes means that the project is now in the hands of the community and development decisions are being voted on regularly. Let's also not forget about the work that's been done by the Icon Loop company. This is helping to drive the adoption of the Icon network to enterprise clients in Korea and other countries around the world. This will no doubt help power adoption of the Icon network globally. You also have that all-important collaboration the project is undertaking with Chainlink. Could this open up a whole new avenue for broader interoperability with blockchains? Could you eventually be able to use the Icon network with more established blockchains such as Ethereum? Moreover, it means that projects that decide to develop on the Icon network could have access to secure and decentralized off-chain data. Other blockchain communication protocols like the Cosmos network don't have this sort of functionality. I'm also quite hopeful for what is to come in the next 12 months. Their 2020 roadmap is quite detailed, and there are a number of updates that could improve the functionality of the network. For example, they're approaching the scalability dilemma head-on by reserving dapp development in the network sidechains. This is an approach that I hope to see many other projects take if they want to avoid blockchain bloat on their main chains. Now, the biggest question you're no doubt asking, where do I see ICX going? Well, momentum appears to be there. From a fundamental standpoint, the Icon network is strong, and I think that the market is beginning to realize this. I would not be surprised if ICX continues its steady climb as demand increases not only for utility use, but also for staking. Currently, the staking returns on the Icon network are pretty attractive compared to competing blockchains. Of course, there are risks that may crop up. Currently, broader crypto market sentiment is positive, but this could easily turn. There has been a lot of hype around the halving, so what could happen to the altcoin complex after May is anyone's guess. Either way, I'm still quite optimistic about ICX, but I encourage you to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. And that, my friends, is my update on Icon. Now tell me, what do you think of the project? Do you have any questions for me? I'd love to hear them in the comments. And finally, of course, if you found this video helpful, then let it be known. Please smash up that like button and hit the subscribe. I'm working on my next video right after this. Thank you for being a loyal member of my community. I want to give back to you guys to show my gratitude. Every week I share an email of my personal insights into the crypto market. This covers everything from hot coin picks to market analysis and other juicy goodies. You want to join me? Smashing! Just head on over to the description and you'll find a link to my sign-up form. Then you just insert your email, hit submit, and hey presto, you are a Coin Bureau insider. And I'm working on my next mailer as we speak.